So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and my thoughts, reflections, and a little bit of apologising for Salute 51 that happened last Saturday at the Excel Centre in London. So yeah, the annual meetup in London at the Excel Centre just took place last Saturday. I always try and get up there. It's always been a little bit of a challenge because it coincides with the sort of around the same time as my eldest daughter's birthday, but 9 times out of 10 I managed to get there, which is great. And I have to say, hats off to Warlords. I know we've had Mac, who used to be involved in running Salute on the PCP one Monday, and he talked about how much is involved in setting this event up. It is a monster. I mean, it is absolutely enormous. And hats off to them for doing it. They do an incredible job in a very stressful thing, and without sometimes an awful lot of thanks. So I will, on behalf of my side of the community anyway, say thank you very much, Warlords. Really enjoyed the show again. And I think in some ways I would say it was back. I'd love to know what the numbers were. But I would say in some ways it was back to almost the prime of Salute. It was as busy as I can recall it being. Certainly the queues of people waiting to get in were pretty mammoth. And just, I arrived a bit early to get in, and while I was waiting for Martin, Seventh Son, to turn up, it was obvious there was a lot of people just hanging around the Excel, getting coffees, getting breakfast, waiting to go in. So not only was the queue huge, there was just lots of people around who were clearly going into the show. So and certainly for the first half of the day, as often happens actually at Salute, the first half of the day is the busiest, and it was pretty busy, and it quietened out a little bit as the day went on. I guess that's natural. People, disappear off to play games, also to go in to have a drink and have some lunch, and some people just have had enough in the morning, and so it's always a little bit quieter in the afternoon. But that morning was very, very busy. Lots of wonderful stuff, and I think so. I used to be a little bit harsh with Salute in days gone by. I used to refer to it as a shopping show. So I always think there's different shows you go to. There's some that are just amazing for displays. The games that are put on, the demo games, etc., just amazing. And then there's others that are just better for, everybody's there. Everybody needs to be there. All the traders are there. And I always thought Salute was much more in that latter category. There's some good games, but the Excel Centre is not exactly the perfect environment for massively good games. However, I think in the last couple of years there's definitely been an improvement, and on Saturday was no different. There were some amazing games. I've got a whole load of pictures which I took. I didn't do any video, but I took lots of pictures, so I'll put them all at the end, and if you're interested, have a look. There were some really interesting games. Didn't get to play any of them. I didn't have enough time, but certainly spent a lot of time looking at and discussing some of the games with some of the people who ran them. So yeah, for me, Salute was great. I really enjoyed it. Every year almost gets better. I spent a lot of time with Martin, Seventh Son. Also some of the PCP community were there. Bumped into a lot of people. Also Alex, Storm of Steel, Yorkshire Gamer, Ken, spoke to him a lot. Met up with all sorts of people from around the community. I shouldn't name anybody because I will forget somebody I spoke to. So also spent some good time with Dave Brown on the Lardy Zone. Again, there was a large corner of Salute that was set aside for Lardy games. And Dave Brown was there, had a long chat with him about General Dame 2, and he told me I need to have a game of it, so Jonathan and I are going to probably do that this Friday. He said, don't get anything wrong, and if you're confused, just text me and I'll come back to you with answers. So there you go. So I'll do that. But anyway, spoke to Lardy Rich, spoke to who else? I'm going to start naming names and I forget. But it was really, really good. I've done a video about the epic Hell Seas, the Punic Wars range that Warlords teased the few days in the lead up to Salute, and they had displays on the stand. So I won't go into that anymore, because if you're interested, you can see the video. I'll put the link here as well. But enough to say, I was blown away with them. Absolutely extraordinary figures. There was a lot of lovely figures available on display around the halls. Also, Warlords were showing off some of their new Napoleonic figures. There was also some ACW figures. Lots of other stands had really good stuff, and I didn't spend a huge amount of time photographing stands because they were busy. Mostly they were busy. I did feel slightly sad for Essex Miniatures, who, those of us who've been in the hobby for any length of time will recall Essex was the stand you went to. You just went and got your 15mm figures from Essex all the time, and at times I looked over at their stand when I walked past and there just never seemed to be anybody on it, and I do feel sorry for them because they're kind of a little bit of a bygone age. Still very nice figures though. There's some really good stuff in there and people should really look at them. Anyway, so yeah, in terms of purchases, well, I let myself down. I let myself down, let you all down. I know I get mocked, and probably rightly so, for buying far too much stuff. Well, this time I didn't, so I will show you what I bought, and it won't take long because it wasn't much, and yeah, then we'll have a look at some of the pictures on the show. Thanks to everyone who came over and said hello. Thanks to everybody putting on their games. I thought there was just some amazing stuff, as you'll see with the pictures, but also thanks to South London Warlords for putting on an epic show, because wow, what a great show that is. Anyway, enough of that. Let's have a look at my stash, and then we'll have a look at some of the pictures. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Salute if you were there. If you didn't go this year but wished you had, and let me know why you missed it this year. I'm aiming. Alex bent my ear when I was talking to him about going up to. He said, "Do you ever go into any shows in the north?" And I said, "Not usually, no. But I have promised myself a trip to Partisan. It just never seems to fall, even though there's 2 every year, never seems to fall a weekend where I'm free. But I do promise myself to get up there and have a look at Partisan, because I think that's another amazing show. Anyway, I've waffled on far too long. Let's take a look at my stash and have a look at some of the tables. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. So yeah, a little bit of a pathetic haul from Salute this year. So I usually, believe it or not, do myself a little shopping list of things that I need and want to look out for. When I started to do it a couple of weeks ago, I actually thought, you know what, there's not an awful lot I need or want. I didn't go crazy. I didn't spend a huge amount of time looking at different stands, because I spent most of my time talking to people and looking at the beautiful games that there were. So I actually didn't buy that much. And in fact, of this stuff, 2 of the 3 things I'd pre-ordered, and I was only really picking up there to save myself postage. So amusing story with that one. This big box of War Bases MDF and this packet here I pre-ordered to pick up at the show, because, as I say, I thought it'd save myself a few pennies. I was going anyway. Saves on postage. But in my infinite wisdom, I forgot that I was going to be going on after the show to meet up with my family. We were going to the O2 to watch Michael McIntyre live, when I got there, I discovered that you can't take bags into the O2, big bags into the O2, and my backpack was considered too big. So I had to leave it at a left luggage, which cost me £10. So my saving on postage was then spent on the £10 bag drop at the O2. Never mind. So what have I got here? Well, let's start with the figures. So it's always useful, I think. I know I like my Foundry figures, but it's they don't often do any deals, and the postage can be quite expensive if you only want 1 or 2 packs, and that's what I wanted. So, as you know, I'm doing a Gallic Force for Hail Caesar 28mm, wrong scale maybe now. So I wanted this Chieftain pack. So this is the one where, a bit like Asterix, where he's being carried on a shield above on the shoulders of his henchmen. I quite like that as a character figure, so pick that one up. I picked up a pack of Gallic cavalry characters to go in with the warbands that I've got of mounted cavalry, and likewise a few Celtic personalities to sprinkle in amongst the other foot warbands, and that was it. They were my impulse purchases. Otherwise, I pre-ordered a load of MDF from Glenn and the guys at Warbases. Great to catch up with them. Just lots of different sizes. They did a 10% off if you pre-ordered, so I took advantage of that because you always need them. So there's lots of stuff. Also in here is let's just empty it out, it's easier to look. Lots of different size bases, plus some of the trays for the really useful boxes, because they're really useful. So that's what that is. Poor old Glenn, we were chatting to him, and I said, oh, I've got my pre-order, and he said, oh yeah, do you want me to hold on to it? It's quite a large, quite a heavy box. And I said, no, that's fine. He was not wrong. This weighed a ton, so good for the weight loss, carrying that on my backpack all day long, and then all evening long, as it turned out. So anyway, that was that done. And also, let me just get a knife, and I'll just open up this pack. So this was a company called, I think they were Australian, Battlefield Accessories. Can't get into it. So these are, oh, they all come loose as well, which isn't ideal. These are all counters for General D'Armée. General D'Armée 2, really. So, as I said before, I plan to have a game of General D'Armée. So these are various tokens and counters for the game that Battlefield Accessories have done. And they look jolly nice, don't they? Really nice indeed. So, yeah, I invested in a pack of those. And jolly nice they are too. So there you go. Hopefully won't be needing too many hesitance, or faltering for that matter. So that was my purchases. That was it. Pretty pathetic. So yeah, not up to my usual standard. I'm very sorry, but there you go. So enough of that. Let's have a look at some of the tables that I saw at Salute. I think I got most of them. I'm sure there's some that I've missed, so if it was your game and you happen to be running it, apologies. But I tried to get round pretty much everything, and funny enough, I think the last one I photographed was actually Yorkshire Ken, his big Jutland game. I've been talking to him, and also to James Cutts, who'd been there, and various other people actually around the table, but I'd completely forgotten to take a picture of the game. And then just at the last minute, just as I was about to head off, I thought, oh sugar, I really must go and take a photograph of that, so I didn't. So that's in there as well. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a look at some of the nice games at Salute.